So today we're moving on and doing dividing real numbers, and you guys, this is the same kind of thing as multiplying. How do you get a positive when you're dividing? There's two ways. A positive divided by a positive. What's the other way? So a positive divided by a positive will give you a positive. And a negative divided by a negative will also give you a positive. How do you get a negative? Yes, so two opposite signs. It doesn't matter which one's on top or which one's on bottom. That is the way to get a negative. And then we talked about this the other day. If it's like a really long problem, you can count the negatives. If they're even, you're going to get a positive answer. If they're odd, like 1, 3, 5, 7, like if there's 5 negatives, then the answer will be negative. All right, in 6th grade, y'all learned how to find the mean. What does mean? What is mean? Y'all learned mean, median, mode, and range. What is mean? Anybody? To find the mean, it is the average. Are y'all remembering now? Yes or no? All right, mean is average. And then we don't do the other ones in here, but median is middle number. Mode is most occurring. Range is the biggest minus the smallest, okay? We don't do any of those. The mean is the average. Does anybody remember how to find the average? This is how I would find the average of your grade. Yes, you add them all up, so let's write that over here. Add all the numbers. Then divide by how many there are. So anytime you hear the word mean, you need to think of average, because that's what it means. All right, so we're going to average. We're going to find the mean of this first list of numbers. So you're going to add them all up. Write down what you get, which I got negative 150. Yes or no? How many numbers are there? So I'm going to divide that by 5. Don't forget the negative sign is below the 3, yes? All right, what did y'all get? Negative 30. Okay, try this next one on your own. Now, question. Look at this. It says negative 55 plus 92. How would I read that? So could I change? So plus negative 35. All right, add those up. What did you get when you added? How many numbers are there? 100 divided by 5 is 20. Now we're going to look at expressions with division and figure out how to simplify them. Okay? So everybody look at the first example. what this is saying is that 36x minus 24 is, the whole thing is being divided by, so how many terms do you see on top? As what's a term? 2. Why? How do you know? Because they're separated by adding or subtracting signs. So here's a term, here's a term. Both of those terms are being divided by 6. So what you're going to do to simplify this is you're going to write the terms separately and with both of them being divided by 6. So let me show you. I'm going to do 36x divided by 6. Now what do y'all think I should do right here? Change. So then I'm going to do plus, and then I'm going to do negative 24 divided by 6. Now what do you think I'm going to do? Simplify. I'm going to simplify. So your calculator will do this for you using alpha y equals, because you have two fractions, right? So you're just going to do alpha y equals. You're going to put in 36 over 6. Y'all should know 36 divided by 6 is 6. So this first expression simplifies to 6 what? I can't just get rid of the x. It stays there. 6x plus, and then y'all know this one too, like you should know it, but if you don't, put in your calculator. What's negative 24 over 6? Negative 4. Okay, I'm going to say it again. When you have an expression and the whole thing is being divided by a number, you're going to separate it into terms and divide each term by that number. Okay? But what are we going to deal with first? So look at the second example. What do I need to deal with right here? Change. So I'm going to do the first term, 2x, over negative 4, plus the second term, which is negative 8, over negative 4. Now what do? Simplify. Use your alpha y equals button if you need to. So if I go to alpha y equals, option 1, and I type in 2 over negative 4, what does that simplify to? Negative 1/2. So I have negative 1/2. Where's the x go? Just next to it. Do not put the x underneath the fraction bar. It just needs to go next to it. Plus, what is negative 8 over negative 4? Positive 2. If you don't know that, use your alpha y equals button, and you're done. Okay, try this next one on your own. Okay, if you want, check your first step with mine. Did everybody get negative 6y over 3 plus 18 over 3? Now we're going to simplify. Negative 6 over 3 simplifies to negative 2y plus, and 18 thirds is actually 6. Are we okay? All right, let's go to the next one. What's the first thing I need to do right here? Change. So I'm going to do negative 10z over negative 5 plus negative 20 over negative 5. And then I'm just going to simplify it. Again, when you simplify, do not put the variable in your calculator because it's not going to know what to do with it. Okay, so you're just going to do, what is negative 10 over negative 5 simplify to? Y'all should know that. 2, so 2z, that's a 2, then this is a z, plus what's negative 20 over negative 5? Positive 4. Okay, let's try the next one. I need to change. So I have 12 over 6 plus negative 18x over 6. And guys, I want you to leave these as fractions unless they're whole numbers. Yes? Like 12 over 6 simplifies to a whole number, 2. So you're going to leave it as a whole number. And negative 18 over 6 also simplifies to a whole number of negative 3x. But like if it happens to be a fraction like 1/2, I don't want you to put it as a decimal. I want it as a fraction. Okay? All right, let's try this one. Change. So I have negative 15x over negative 5 plus negative 10 over negative 5. These are both going to give me whole numbers. Negative 15 over negative 5 is positive, so I have 3x, plus negative 10 over negative 5 is 2. All right, let's do this one. What's the first thing I'm going to do? Change. What is any number divided by itself? 1. So it kind of just cancels out. And 1 times c is c. Do I have to write the coefficient 1? No, but I can. I can put 1c, or I can just put c plus. Negative 4 over negative 8 is 0.5. But what do I want it as? A fraction. So simplified, it becomes 1/2. And y'all do know that the calculator will do that for y'all, right? So if I go to alpha y equals and I put in negative 4 over negative 8 and I hit enter, it will simplify that fraction for me. All right, y'all try this one. Did everybody get 1/5 b plus negative 1/2? Okay, can we move on? Look at the next part. What does it ask you to do? Evaluate. What does evaluate mean? Solve. So anytime it says that, it's going to give you the value of x or y or whatever. So this first one says when x is 6 and y is negative 8. So I'm going to do 4 times x, which is 6, over 3 times y. Well, 3 times, what's y? Negative 8, plus x. What is x? 6. Make sure you're making your fraction long enough to see what actually goes on top and what goes on bottom. Can I stick this in my calculator all at once? You can. You can go to alpha y equals, choose option 1, put everything on top that's on top, so 4 times 6 goes on top, and everything on bottom. 3 times negative 8 plus 6, and there's your answer. Like, you don't have to solve each step out. Like, the calculator will do it all at once. So negative 4/3 is the answer. And yes, please leave your answers as fractions. Okay, do this one on your own. Okay, what'd y'all get? 12/13, and that's your answer. All right, flip to the back. There's one example back there. All right, what's the first thing I'm going to do up here? Change. Then I'm going to put each term over 5y. So I have 10xy over 5y plus negative 15y over 5y. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to simplify 10/5. What's 10/5? Y'all should know this. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So 2 is a whole number, right? It's going to go on top. X is going to go on top. Tell me about these y's. Is that y divided by y? Anytime you divide something by itself, doesn't it cancel out? So those y's are canceled out, and I'm left with 2x. So let's talk about it again. 10 divided by 5 is 2. X stays there, and the y's cancel out. Yes? Plus, what is negative 15 divided by 5? Negative 3. Do I keep the y's, or do they cancel out? They cancel out. So I'm left with this. Okay, I'll pass out your assignment and go over directions. Okay, look at number 1 through 3. It wants you to find the multiplicative inverse of each number. All that means is that the fraction flips over. So if this is negative 7, I would reverse it, flip it, and it would be negative 1 over 7. Do y'all see how that works? So this one would flip and become what? Negative 5 over 1, which is just negative 5, okay? So that's how you do this part. On 4 through 12, it says find the quotient. Just use your calculator. Alpha y equals. So like you're going to do negative 32 divided by negative 2. For this one, you're going to do 17 divided by alpha y equals option 2, negative 2 and 1/8. Leave your answer as what? I want them as fractions unless they're whole numbers. Then, of course, put a whole number. I do not want decimals. Did everybody hear me? Okay. On 13 through 15, it says find the, and what does mean? So what is average? You add them up and divide by how many are there. On 16 through 18, you're going to simplify these. Remember that you're going to take each term and divide by the bottom number. So negative 8x divided by 9 plus 27 divided by 9. You must simplify. Did everybody hear me? You must simplify. So like negative 8 divided by 9 is not going to simplify. So the fraction will be negative 8/9 x. But 27 over 9 will simplify, won't it? Yes, so you must simplify. Now, what is this whole paper over? So these word problems, what do you think you're going to do on almost all of them? Divide. Okay? So please don't look at them and be like, I have no idea what to do. You're going to probably divide because that's what the whole paper's over. Okay? And then number 22 wants you to, what does 22 say? 22 says, the table below shows the change in number of memberships at a health club. What is the average? What did we learn average is? Add them up and divide by how many are there. Then when you get to the back, it's just more of the ones like we did on our assignment, okay? Everybody good? Just remember, if you have A over A, it cancels out. Any questions? All right, get started. That way y'all can ask me if you get confused.